My wife discovered true crime podcasts, and now she's convinced our neighbor buried his ex-wife in the backyard. My wife is 36, and we've been married for 8 years. Everything was completely normal until about 5 months ago when she discovered true crime podcasts during her commute. At first, I thought it was harmless entertainment. She'd listen while doing dishes and occasionally share wild facts about old cases. But within 2 weeks, something shifted. She came home with 3 notebooks from the office supply store, color-coded tabs, highlighters, said she needed to take proper notes while listening because the details matter. I laughed and asked if she was studying for an exam. She didn't laugh back. She said most people miss crucial evidence because they don't pay attention. By the end of that month, she'd consumed over 200 hours of content. I know because she started tracking it in a spreadsheet. The next month, I noticed she wasn't sleeping. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and find her side of the bed empty. She'd be in the living room with her laptop, headphones in, pausing and rewinding the same audio clips over and over. When I asked what she was doing, she said she was training her ear to detect micro-expressions in voices. I told her that doesn't make sense because you can't hear facial expressions. She looked at me like I was stupid. She started analyzing everyone we knew. Her sister's husband was suspicious because he blinked too much during conversations. Her coworker was hiding something because she always parked in the same spot. The barista at our coffee shop had guilty body language. I told myself this was just a phase like her astrology obsession from last year, but this felt different. She stopped watching normal TV entirely. About 3 months ago, our neighbor Gerald moved in next door. Nice enough guy, mid-50s, kept to himself. His wife had passed away a few years back according to the landlord. Normal situation. But my wife immediately fixated on him. She said something felt off about his energy. She noticed he gardened at odd hours. She said his lawn was suspiciously green in one specific patch. She started timing how long his light stayed on and logging it in her notebooks. I told her she was being paranoid, that Gerald was just a quiet widower. She pulled up her laptop and showed me a podcast episode about a man who buried 3 women in his garden. She said the neighbors always described him as quiet and nice. That's when she told me Gerald's wife didn't die. She said Gerald killed her and buried her in that green patch of lawn. Last Wednesday, I came home from work early because of a dentist appointment. The house was empty, but I heard voices coming from our backyard. I looked through the window and saw my wife crouched behind our fence with binoculars, speaking into her phone. She was recording a voice memo describing Gerald's movements in real time. He was just watering his tomatoes. When she finally came inside, I confronted her. She wasn't embarrassed at all. She pulled out a folder, an actual folder with Gerald's name on it. Inside were printed photos she'd taken of his backyard from different angles, copies of his mail she'd photographed when it was delivered, a timeline of his daily routine spanning 11 weeks. She'd even found his late wife's obituary and circled inconsistencies in the wording. She'd been conducting a full investigation without telling me. She said she was building a case, and when she had enough evidence, she was going to contact the FBI. That night, I checked our Amazon purchase history. My stomach dropped. She'd spent $800 on surveillance equipment over the past 4 months. Night vision binoculars, a parabolic microphone, something called a thermal imaging attachment for her phone. She'd also been paying $50 a month for a background check service and had run searches on Gerald plus 12 other people in our neighborhood. I confronted her the next morning and showed her everything. She started crying, not sad crying, vindicated crying. She said I didn't understand what it's like to finally see the world clearly after years of being naive, that most people walk past murderers every day without knowing. I said Gerald is a retired accountant who grows vegetables. She screamed that Ted Bundy was charming too. Then she said something that made my blood freeze. She asked if I would help her dig a test hole in Gerald's yard while he was at his weekly poker game. Just a small one, just to check. Gerald found the hole 3 days later and now he's threatening to press charges while my wife insists this proves he's hiding something.